Hi, it's Martin here from Robson Laidler, and as part of our ongoing B Corp month, I'm speaking to Rob Charlton today, who's the CEO of Space Group.
Good afternoon.
Hi Rob, how are you doing?
Good.
Just tell us very briefly a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk B Corp, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm Rob, Chief Executive of Space Group, which sounds very grand. There's 4 businesses in Space Group. One, Space Architects, we've got BIM Technologies, BIM Store and TwinView, all based around innovation in the built environment. I'm an architect by profession, coming up to 30 years in this industry, hence the grey hair. And very much a northeast lad, very proud of our region, and want to make sure that, a lot of the things that we do as an organisation, we work globally, but we're very much proud of our northeast headquarters and bringing the investment back into the region.
What size team you got?
About 100 of us now across the group.
Just when people are looking,
yeah.
Okay, then, and how long have you been a B Corp now then?
2 years, 3 years, 2 years. Over 2 years, I think.
Okay, and a question I ask everyone is, what made you look at B Corp? How did you end up there?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think it was a particularly big decision. I was reading the sort of business press and what other people are doing. I do a lot of reading around that sort of stuff. And this B Corp thing in America kept cropping up. I thought it was interesting. It was very much around business for good. Always looking at doing something different to what other people are doing, because a lot of other standard things that people do in the UK. So we had a bit of a look at it. I quite like where it was coming from. There wasn't many in the UK at the time. So we just thought we'd dip our toe. We didn't do anything different. We didn't say, right, okay, we're going to be a B Corp, we need to put this in place. It was more of a test of how well we were doing as a socially conscious business. Yeah. So we didn't do anything different. We still haven't done anything specific for B Corp. It's just something that allows us as a check as we go through.
So do you just see it as an external verification then?
It is, and I think that it's a good point that mainly I think the biggest value for us is a message internally about how important that is to us as an organisation. So our team feel it's very important, being a socially conscious business. I mean, majority of our team are millennials or Generation Z, and that's important to them. So from a recruitment point of view, really important. When we speak to people, they have already picked up that element of being a B Corp and social business for good. So that's the reason. Externally, I'm honestly, I don't know the impact it has externally. We're very proud of it.
Has anyone knocked on your door specifically and said, "Oh, you're a B Corp, that's handy. We need an architect, and that's the thing that."
No, I don't think they have.
So we have had that interest in
right. No, I've not yet. Externally, I guess it probably wasn't the driver. It's nice to be.
That was why we did it, of course.
But
there's easier ways to win clients than.
But I think people want to work with companies that are aligned with their thinking. So I think from that point of view, it's putting out, look, we're about this. This is the kind of organisation. I like the community it's created. Working with, certainly in the northeast, a small community of B Corps who have a similar ethos.
Some good events, and I've met some really good, interesting people doing.
Absolutely.
Some actually quite interesting work as well. I think often the exciting things can happen just on those fringes, can't it? Yeah. And I think at the moment it's still almost a fringe movement, isn't it?
It is. I think a lot of that is probably because there'd probably be more, but it's a challenging process to get through.
Yeah.
And it's a long process, which I think is good, because there's a lot of these other things you sort of tick a few boxes
and apply and send a check off.
But we had to, everything you said, they said, give us evidence. We said, a lot of our, so I can't remember what the percentage of our suppliers were that were within a 25-mile radius. We had to give them evidence of that. Yeah. So we had to, you think you can't just say that. Show me the invoices, show me all of your ledgers, tell me that the other thing is changing your articles of association.
Your governance,
so when you do things, you're not just doing them, it's not just a flippant thing you can do one, you're making a serious contribution.
This is often overlooked, I think, and the idea is you change your bottom line from a for-profit to a for-profit and for your people and the community around you, isn't it, and the environment. So we call it a triple bottom line. Whereas most commercial enterprises, certainly limited companies, it's shareholder profit is the primacy of purpose. So you've got to actively change away from that, haven't you? That's not to say all companies are ran evilly for money, but...
Yeah, there's a lot of companies that's around their shareholder value. If you're a PLC, generally that's what you're about. I mean,
that is your job, if you run a company, you've got to look after shareholder value.
There's a good example, Unilever, who as a large company have always been a shining light in their ethical principles and things, but they had a shareholder who was really pushing them to say, look, you're doing too much of this sustainability stuff, and
just
you're
not trying.
That was exactly it.
Yeah.
And fair enough if that's what you want to do, but I think there's a lot more to business than that. We're very lucky. We're a very profitable business, and I think those two things are very aligned. It's not they go hand in hand. What's great is if you're profitable, you can invest in social things.
You can do nice things if you start from a position of profit, can't
absolutely. You? And now, as long as our people are sharing in that, so we have, if we have a good year, we share that. We have a bonus. Yeah. We can invest in other, community things that we do. We support quite a few schools. We do the breakfast clubs. We've got some scholarships running. So I think that the profitability and they're not exclusive. I think that all comes together, and a profitable business it's easier to do those sort of things when you've got some margin.
100%.
Yeah.
So you mentioned yourself there. Then was it kind of just you who was part of this, or was there other people? And did you nudge a couple of the other people in the office thinking about this? What do you think? Or
the truth is, no, I don't think I did. To be honest, I think I'm in quite a lucky position in that when you're I'm not in the weeds on projects and my sleeves rolled up. I'm in a really fortunate position that I've got a broader view and I can lift myself out of that. I guess that's my role, as a chief exec, which is a title I hate, but I'm lucky enough to be able to scan the environment, what's happening, what's the market doing, what are we doing as an organisation. And I spoke to colleagues and said, what do you think? Is this a good idea? I'd done the research, and they kind of went, well, that's what we're doing anyway, just whatever you think. And we just kind of went about it, and then it was a bit like just saying to everyone, well, we've got B Corp, got a badge, and I went, yeah, okay, great. Because we didn't do anything different. It's just what we've always done for the last, we've been around since 1956, so I'm not saying it's been a big part of the business from then, but certainly over the last 20 years, social conscience, doing the right thing, being people focused, has just been what we've been about culturally. It's nothing we've had to do. I think it's either embedded in your organisation, and it's just been our personality for a lot of years. So
the kind of the mantra has been a business for good.
Yeah.
Would you reverse that and say it's also good for business?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've mentioned recruitment so far. Where else do you think it plays a part?
I think there's, the impact the business has. I'm just thinking about driving across here. The great thing is about business is when you're in business, you can have a greater impact than being one person on your own. You've got a more of a voice, certainly in what we do. We all of our 4 businesses, one way or another, impact on buildings and the built environment. Built environment is the biggest user of carbon. 39% of carbon, one way or another, comes through buildings. So doing what we do can have an impact on the planet. I think over the years the two things aren't exclusive. Business allows you to do those sort of things and have an impact.
As part of so anyone who's following you fill out an impact assessment. It tells you whether they think you're going to qualify or not.
Yeah.
And then obviously part of the process is a continuing checking on that. There's a 3-year recertification process, etc. And we're not here to talk about the technicalities of it, but so at some point you're going to have to start to think about what you do next time round. How often do you find yourself looking at the impact assessment and seeing, because we use that, not all the time, but quite a bit, we kind of look and go, oh, well, what else could we do?
And be honest,
not what is it making us do?
No, I don't think we do.
We look at it for inspiration rather than anything.
I don't think it's something we... I mean, it kind of makes me shudder having to think about reassessment, just because it was such a, there's a lot of information, and the team that helped me pull everything together, they shudder when we think about it. But we have rather than aligning with B Corp necessarily, we have a 3-year not rolling, but 3-year business planning process. So our last one, which finished in 2023, was called Rethink. It was 3 years, and we've just started a new one, started this year, called Impact. And that's got 3 streams: people, planet, place. So our business planning is all around that anyway.
So it's now part of just the way you are.
It's just what we've always done anyway. So, the people side is investing in our people, and investing in, say this the things like the scholarships we've got. Planet, obviously, with the buildings that we design and the impact we're trying to get to zero carbon buildings, but also we're trying to be a zero carbon business by 2030. And place, very much around communities. So it's always been built in anyway, and we're always trying. So one of the biggest challenges at the moment is trying to get the energy use of our building down, because it's a 20-odd year old building. It uses a lot of energy.
Got you beat on that one. Yeah. Well, we're really, although you've got a lot of open space in yours as well.
I could talk forever about that. It's actually, strangely, our building is really energy efficient.
Right.
That's another.
It's just the fact that you've got 100 people using computers, printers, phones.
So, but cooling's as important as the good thing with our building is you've got all of that, but that's our building's great for cooling. It's south facing, so you get a lot of solar gain. I mean, looking at your building, what's great about your building, one, it's beautiful, but also there's a lot of embodied carbon existing buildings. That's what we should be doing. So we, as an organisation, we really try and reuse existing buildings, because effectively they're like a carbon sink. You've got years of carbon built in here. Don't
disrupt it. It's already done, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because actually, it's quite interesting. I mean, we're not here to talk about the importance of recycling and things like that, but reusing is better than recycling, isn't it?
Yeah, we call it creative reuse, and I always say, and it's deliberately provocative, but I always think the best building is the one that you don't build. The starting point, would be with a client. Do you need a building? That would be the first question you'd ask your client is, do you need a building? And
I'd like some plans for a building. Do you really?
Well, do you need a building? And actually, could you reorganise? I mean, a lot of our clients love a building because they're sort of they're a nice sort of shiny thing to have, and then
want their name on the front.
Yeah, and then actually, do you need that much space? And now, particularly with hybrid working, you find, I mean, it keeps me awake at night when we're heating space and no one's sitting in it, so we're actually going through a process of completely reorganising our studios to make them more aligned to hybrid working, because our spaces are pre-COVID spaces, and I just don't think they work anymore to how we all work.
So a lot of people have gone from having a desk filled 5 days empty to now filled 2 empty 5.
Yeah,
it makes
and that's where flexible.
It's not all of the same desks on the same 2 days. So you've got to keep the space. And sometimes there's only 1 in 5 people in.
Fridays, and our office is pretty quiet.
Yeah, so almost turn the heating off on Thursday.
That's right. Turn the heating off, and it's not. We haven't done that yet, but that may be the case. The world is changing. It's changing fast as well. I'm doing I've got a talk tonight. It's actually for Australia, so it's going to be a late night talk. But they're a little bit behind us in some of the digital construction areas, and I was reflecting back on my career. And I've been coming up with 30 years. What's changed? I started on a drawing board. My learning started on a drawing board. Quickly moved to CAD, but that's not that long ago. And now, where we've got to with digital and how buildings are, and the pace of change is incredible.
You almost get a building from a ChatGPT prompt these days. I'm sure you can say you can't, but
I bet you could. You would. I mean, there's stories around that, but I mean, the impact of chat and how quickly. It's just unbelievable.
Other language models are available, but yes, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's one of those things that people say it's one of those hype things. AI is just I mean, I use chat every day, just for all sorts of things, just helping you write things, getting you started, asking it questions.
I was classifying a bunch of data earlier, and I was just struggling to put my finger on, I suppose, the headline classification groups. It's quite a dull thing, but I was like, categorise X kind of spend for me, please. And I was like, oh, that's really, actually it wasn't perfect, but
it's a good start for 10.
But I was like, oh, well, I can use that and I'll just play with that. I haven't got that. Right, done, there you go.
Yeah.
We came up with 6 categories, and it was much quicker than just sitting.
Yeah, you see, that's the, that whole change from, going through the drawing board for us and then buildings producing a lot of data, then what you do with that data, pace of change. So, something like B Corp is that, that's another part of it, making sure your people are ready for that, you're investing in them, you've got a culture for change, dynamic, it's all the kind of usual words.
How do you find, because I can't remember the word you said there, Rob, but you said building, there's a lot of carbon already captured within a building. The best building is one you don't build. These sound like fairly radical things for what you'd imagine an architect. That there must be people who get into architecture because they just think, I want to design that big glass tower in the desert. Like, do you have to have like a bit of an expectation change, or do you find that actually, architects are like ready to embrace? I think
there are those kind of architects that we often refer to them as star-architects, and star-architects. So they design some amazing buildings, and the rest of us are having to do very different things. There is a quite a small percentage of people doing that, but. I think the industry is keen to have it make an impact, and it is going through a period of change. I mean, this is again, it's another one of my personal passions is the whole thing around Grenfell, and I think the industry is going through its biggest change, I think possibly ever, or by generation. Those that aren't involved in built environment probably wouldn't know, but there's new Building Safety Acts come out, and is putting quite an onus back on the industry to sort themselves out. In that, we've drifted into this incompetence which caused Grenfell, and now now the government have come in and said, "There's legislation, sort yourselves out." From an architect's point of view, we're front and centre in the we've got an important part to play, and I think that's a great opportunity for us. I think as a profession, and again that comes right back to B Corp. That's doing the right things. I mean, a lot of the things that are coming out
anyway is that
well, it's not something we're doing just because we've got a B Corp,
anyway.
but if you're a B Corp organisation, that sort of thing will bother you. Making a difference. A lot of the things that, from a compliance point of view, is going to mean a lot more work for us, but that's fine, because I don't know if you've read the book Show Me the Bodies. I don't know if you've
no, but I've heard about it.
It's a pretty tough read, particularly for somebody in our industry, in the construction sector, but it's inspirational in wanting to make change, and I think that's just for B Corps, that's got to be embedded in your culture.
So if you've had this kind of forward thinking, or this kind of progressive, or doing the right thing for the right reason anyway attitude, where did it start with you then? Because you said, for years now you've been working like this anyway. Where did that come from?
I think it's just
because a lot of the professions are, certainly once there's more than a few people in, it gets quite hard to turn that attitude, the culture, doesn't it? So
that's a good question. I've never even thought about that, but
you don't just wake up one day and you don't just watch a documentary and go, well, I'm going to do better. It's even that phrase is awful the way I said it, but it's just something that's probably evolved by the people that are in the organisation cared, and I think every business has its own brand in your brand is your culture and the people in it, and I look at other companies that certainly in our region there's lots of different, if you look at the architectural side, lots of different architectural practices, and we all have got our own little personalities. And if you're going to you want to join an architectural practice, it might be that practice is right for you or that practice is right for you. So it's always just been our personality. It has evolved over time, because I go back to, we were called Waring and Nets was our original, when we started out all those years ago, very traditional architectural practice. And I remember Len Nets, who, when I started out, I call him Mr. Nets. And he was... You couldn't have turned up like that, could you?
Absolutely not. You're absolutely not. And what you weren't allowed with Mr. Nets, you weren't allowed to eat an orange in the office. And then I remember not too many years later.
Orange, that's not exactly smoking kippers on the radio,
I know,
is it?
But
like,
Mr. Nets didn't like oranges, and you had them in such respect. It was you know, and I'm not saying those times are worse. They're just different.
Yeah.
But actually, there was quite a nice. You wore a suit and a tie to work every day.
It sets the tone. If nothing else, it set the culture.
Yeah.
Whether it was good or bad, we're not debating, but it set the tone for everyone behind.
Yeah.
So was there someone kind of just ahead of you then who, for this to be a normal way for you, there must have been a...
Probably not. I think because it was quite. I'm just again another example was I remember going to my partners at the time when we were wearing a nets and we were a partnership, and I had this crazy idea of a pool table would be a great idea in the middle of the office. Absolutely not. No way. Think about the noise. It's just a different time.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if it's better or worse or whatever, but what I do know is we're a productive business. We've got, I think we've got happy people. We're best company, 2-star best company. So our people seem to be engaged.
Well, you can tell because the ultimate arbiter is whether you're making money and you've got happy customers.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a happy team will
happy people
be productive and have happy customers.
Yeah. And that was the thing we were saying about, and we were talking earlier about hybrid working and things like that, and 4-day weeks, but where we do a 4.5-day week, and we have hybrid 2 days in, 3 days, and you might have people saying, well, you need your people in, and I have heard, talking to someone a couple of days ago, they've got everybody in every day. And even if we thought it was a good idea, if you look at the performance of your business and your bottom line, it'd be very difficult. We've had some very successful years. It'd be very difficult to go back and say this hybrid thing's not working. I mean, if we started, if the kind of overall performance of the business started to drop and we had customers that weren't happy and profitability was reducing, you might say actually look at something different. But everything's gone the other way. So there is no argument. You've got happier people. One of my favourite examples is that one of our guys. He lives, it's a 3/4 of an hour battle to an hour battle home. It's not that far away. He lives in Wickham, we're in Newcastle, fighting across the
damn bridge every day.
Exactly, fighting his, and so you get home, you're stressed. You get stressed in the morning, but because he's working from home, he can now take his 2 sons to football, and he sees them play football, which he couldn't do before. So that's where the real value is. So if you get, I think it's also a demonstration of trust of your people, because that has an impact, that you're actually saying you can work from home for 3 days, and actually that's then we're all trusting each other.
Yeah.
So
So because again, if you come up with the right measures of results, make sure those results are happening.
Yeah.
Like how they're happening almost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I know it does. I'm simplifying it dramatically, but we need some drones by Thursday. Did you get drones by Thursday, and were they adequate? Yeah.
I think it's one of the things we always say. You've got to, what is success, and you've got to define success. And one of the success things, you've got to have a sustainable business, which is about money. So you've got to make profit, and profit isn't a dirty word, but there are other elements of success. Your quality product, happy people. You need to have that balance. I think there are some, as I say, before, PLCs generally, they're there to maximise shareholder value. A lot of times,
despite their nice adverts.
But that is the purpose. That's
the greenwashed adverts.
And the rest is fringe, but that's ultimately what they're about. And that's if you're on the stock exchange, that's what you're about. Same with venture capital is exactly the same. I think venture capital is great in its right place, but ultimately. Venture capitalists will put a pound
driving growth for value on
putting £1 in, I want 5 back in 5 years. Be aware of what you're getting into, and I think if you're certainly we like being a regional business, having an impact on a region. It's more than just. I think again this is going to sound awful. To get to a certain age, that your drivers in life change. That sounds a bit awful. That sounds a bit. But anyway, certainly from my point of view, I think your drivers in life change when you get to a certain age. And the flash cars have never been a thing for me, but having an impact on your community, that does sound awful, this doesn't it? But that is genuine. Having an impact on your community, doing something for the region, doing something for your profession. I think they're nice things that you can get involved in, I think.
Have you had any surprises out of B Corp, good or bad?
No, not really.
So I was telling you briefly, we had one client who went, I will take no part in this, I'm off.
That's probably the biggest surprise I've ever had. I've never even thought... the fact you saying that, I've never ever thought that... It never crossed my mind that anybody would ever think...
Would object it was to being kind.
It might be seen as the whole woke thing, and
maybe we missold it. I don't know. Yeah, we were really proud and then quite surprised.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to think. I'm thinking back to our clients have. No one's actively said anything about it. What you said is, what's this B Corp thing?
Which isn't the problem. You're happy to explain. Yeah.
I mean, part of the other thing is that I guess what our client we do, obviously advocacy is a big part of B Corp, and we take that quite seriously, and we have an annual conference for all of our clients which we call Shift, which is around reducing carbon, it's basically about shifting your mindset is why it's called Shift around, and it's a full day event, and we bring in speakers. We had Jonathan Porritt last year, we had a marketing director from Patagonia, guy from Eden Project, so we bring them together and bring our clients. So it's doing those things for our clients as well, not just saying we've got a badge. We very rarely shout about the badge. It just kind of sits in the background, I think.
We're finding we're seeing quite a lot of clients taking on, so we do coaching and advisory work as well as accountancy and figures and adding things up and dividing them. But we're seeing quite a lot of interest from people on waste reduction exercises, waste audits. Which of course... In relation to their... Just in their business, So this having classic wastes, Toyota, all this isn't a pitch for waste, but quite often you'll see it might be energy waste, it might be material waste, it might be weighting waste. There's all different kinds of waste. And what you normally find is they have a cost. And if they're eating into profit, that means you can't do other things with that money. We're getting a lot of people now. And it's not an environmental thing per se, but what you tend to find is it normally ends up with, we should get some switches so the lights turn off automatically if the room's empty. But we're saving power, but also saving energy. Normally waste isn't... Normally if you're doing something environmental, I know there's often an upfront cost, but it normally reduces. It's a monetary saving and an environmental,
waste, the definition of the term, isn't it? I mean, if you... if you've got good management information and you've got you're getting your management information, you've got your P&L and you've got your lines on there, you should be looking at every line anyway. And if we're spending a penny more than we need to, that's what I was saying earlier, that if we've got one of our studios standing empty with nobody in it and the lights are on, we've just gone through an exercise of putting a lot more controls on crossover lighting. So if you want
like mechanical and engineering type control, we've gone through
I just wrote a case study for somebody about it, and we've gone through a process. So we changed to LED lights. That's probably the best thing I think anybody could ever do. We change all our heating to you save a fortune that. But then the next thing is getting your controls. So basically, you walk around our office spaceworks now. It's generally pitch black because you find the lights got control switch themselves off. So again, that's waste. You're looking at how do you, and that's been an investment, but the return on that will be 2 years. And I think just looking at every line on waste, I think that's just good business sense, isn't it? That
it should be. Often people are busy though. There might be people out there going, I'm only a one-man band. You've got 100 people to look at your line, and I get there's different priorities. But so we were doing an exercise, and there was a guy who, his own measure, he said he reckons he's just saved over 30 grand a year in his business from an initial chat about waste. We didn't even get into the long grass on it. There's definitely waste out there. I don't know why we ended up, I'm just talking about different ways of working and I suppose complementary things. Great surprise. What do you think's next for this then? I mean, where do you think B Corp's going then, just to finish off? I presume you have no regrets over doing it.
No,
I didn't even ask that. But
it's it might be not controversial, but the only worry with these kind of things is that as long as it doesn't get to the point where people jump on the bandwagon and it becomes easy to get. I know they're tightening things up and they're putting new things in place. I think why it's valuable now is it's not easy to get. It's hard work. You've really got to want to do
it. Worthwhile is the way I would put it. Yeah.
But you've got to jump over a lot of hurdles, and you've got to change your article. So if you're serious, you'll do it. But if you're not, you're going to go to all that faff of changing your articles.
But it filters out the time wasters, doesn't it?
Yeah, and as long as it does that, and it's done for all the right reasons, I think it's great. And as long as it keeps doing that, and it's building a community,
because it's not just a membership organisation. With like a lot of things are just, can I be a member? Yes, you can. Pay the fee, and like we'll do 2 references. Well, this isn't that. It is an actual test that you have to pass, isn't it?
So it's good, as long as I think it's good that B Corp keep promoting the positive things about it, that they keep it as rigorous as it is now, and will continue to build a community. Is
there a danger that keeps some businesses out though? Because they might be watching this thinking, we've just said how much hard work it is.
Yeah, good. Is it only people that are? If you're serious about it and you're a good business, you'll get through.
And you won't see it. You'll see it as a lot of effort, but worthwhile effort.
You've got to be. It's.
When you're saying good, it's not that you want to be exclusive or elitist. It's just you don't want people to pretend.
Yeah, you want people that are going to genuinely embrace what it's about, not people that are doing it for the badge. I think you should be doing it for, you want to be a good company, you want to have an impact, a positive impact, and you get a badge alongside it. And the good thing with the badge is then you're saying to people externally, look, we are a company that care, and you're seeing internally, and for me it's probably the biggest thing for us is that our people want to know they're working for a business that does care.
Yeah.
And certainly Generation Z, that is, probably even more. I was just talking to a recruitment friend yesterday about this, that Generation Z, it's money is not a big driver anymore. It's about flexible working. It's about the value of the organisation. Flexible working, he was seen as a massive thing. He'll put, a candidate to 2 companies, and if one company's in the office 5 days, they'll just not even think about it.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely changing times, but all for the good.
Yeah, good. Well, listen, Rob, thanks very much for your time today. Very much appreciate. We hope you've enjoyed this chat about B Corp and another angle, another view on, I suppose, why you did it and what you're getting from it, which is always nice to hear. So, thank you very much. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed it.